New Superman issue 1 by Gene Lillian Yang and Victor Bogdanovich. And yeah, so this, of course, was a complete fresh slate. This is a complete new thing. New property, new characters.
Yeah, so was this a rebirth issue or just a number one?
Just number one.
Okay.
Because, I mean,
Because
why.
that's yeah, I didn't know if we were getting a rebirth for it or
No, no.
not. And the what am I looking for? On the cover, the rebirth banner
Mm.
was real close, so it kind of looked like maybe it was. So that's why
Nah,
I had to
see.
ask.
I mean, it makes sense. I mean, what's it a rebirth of? Because it's a new thing, so. You know,
That's true.
so I get why this one doesn't have a rebirth issue. So this is a new thing. It follows this new character in Shanghai named Keenan Kong,
Yeah.
who is a bit of a dick. Likes to bully this.
Understatement. It calls the kid fat boy.
Calls the kid
Doesn't
fat
even call
boy.
him by his proper name.
Steals his lunch, and
Yeah.
all that. And all of this is technically in Mandarin. There's a nice little note, actually, a few pages
Yeah.
in, that tells us that if it's in blue, it's in English. So things like names that would still be said in English still show up like that, but
Hmm.
everything else is actually in Mandarin. So that's a cool little touch. It's nice to essentially be reading a foreign
Yeah.
setting, which is cool.
Yeah.
Um, so we set up that he is this dick who treats this kid really badly, and this villain from like China shows up, who shows
Yeah.
up to attack like kids of rich families or something to that
Yeah. That's
effect.
his MO.
Yeah, and he tries to attack the fat kid, and Kieran sort of inadvertently, by throwing a can at his head, like kind of saves
Yeah.
the day, and people see it and think he's a bit of a hero. By the way, did you notice the Back to the Future reference here?
I read it so quickly, no.
Right,
But what
so
was it?
So he throws the can, the villain goes away, and there's people up at the window watching. And his Lois Lane, because she's got the initials LL, I've not got her name yet, she's in the
Hmm.
next couple of pages. But
Yeah.
she's in the window at the nearby restaurant or whatever, and someone else
Uh-huh.
in the scene says, "Who is that kid?" And then she says, "I don't know, but I'm going to find out."
Okay.
If you don't remember that from Back to the Future, that says something
Yeah.
that Lorraine McFly says when someone else asks her
Yeah.
that question after the skateboarding scene. So that was a
Yeah.
nice little wink, wink, nudge, nudge
Yeah.
to Back to the Future, which is cool. Uh, so I appreciate that. So yeah, her name is Lainey Lan. So I like that his love interest is got the L initials.
Well,
Nice touch.
okay, so she's a full reporter, right? So you gotta think
Mm.
she's in her 20s,
Yeah, and he's
and
like,
he's 16, 17-year-old kid. He's constantly like, yeah, she's my type. And I just like Yang's voice for this kid. He is such a like I know I've met people like this,
Hmm.
so I appreciate that as a writer. I wasn't a big fan of Yang Superman. It had some fun moments. I feel though like this book he can make its own thing
Yeah, it's
because
because
he's not weighed down by Superman.
yeah, it doesn't have like it can be its completely own original thing. So I don't like. Whereas when I was reading Superman, I'm like, this doesn't really feel like Superman. Whereas this, I'm like,
Yeah.
this is its own thing. This is this character that he's created, and no, and what I love as well is when he's not only is he like she's my type. Also, he's a caption here, his narration. He
Mhm.
basically lists a lot of things that he doesn't like about her.
Yeah.
While he's saying she's his type, he's like, "Oh, it's a shame about the glasses and the baseball cap, but
Yeah. So again, he basically is a salty Biff Tannen, you know.
a little bit."
So you know, like
Uh,
even trying to give compliments, he puts people down.
yeah,
So
yeah,
as he's narrating to us, so and I like the whole dynamic with him and his dad, because keeping the blue collar stuff with Superman. His dad's a mechanic, and it's like you got to stop bullying that kid because his dad's the CEO of a plane company.
yeah. Yeah, it's worth mentioning that the backstory here is that his mum died in a plane crash that was
Yeah.
the company that this kid's dad owned, and that's maybe why he targets him specifically.
Yeah.
So, no, it sets up his supporting cast, sets up his dad, sets up the love interest. If she even has a love interest per se, I mean, I assume she will be.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I think that it's funny that he he thought like she was gonna ask him on a date after hearing he was a hero,
Yeah.
to save the kid. So
No, it's funny. It's got a nice charm to it. which I
Yeah.
really like. And of course, this secret government agency in China like finds him and is like, he's the one, and comes and like nabs him, and he's like, by the way, you ever seen this guy on the news? This Superman fella from America? You seen him? Yeah,
Uh-huh.
so we can make someone into him. We're not going to explain how we can do that yet. That may get brought up in later issues.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're going to throw you into this chamber, and we're going to give you powers. You cool with that? And he's like, yeah, I'm cool with that.
Yeah. Why not? This is zombie with everything.
Yeah, so yeah, that's basically the story of the issue. Of course, all in the cliffhanger. He goes through the chamber, he gets his powers, and that's when Chinese Batman and Wonder Woman come barreling in. And
Oh, I love it.
yeah, Chinese Wonder Woman, by the way, someone pointed this out to me on Twitter. She looks a little bit
Hmm.
like Chun Li from Street Fighter
Yeah.
with a get up,
They
which
can't be a mistake. If he's dropping Back to the Future,
yeah,
nuanced stuff, they can't, I just I love when you get versions of American heroes in other countries, but they're not like their version. So it's not like the Knight and Squire as Batman and Robin. It's full on Chinese Batman. Like same type of costume, just different colors. It's like a knockoff version.
yeah, which
So
almost in and of itself is kind of a weird joke because China's known for being quite bad with knockoff
yeah.
versions of things and like lots of piracy and stuff like that. Uh, Also, I do wonder at what point like Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman start getting their lawyers on the phone about copyright infringement.
Yeah, right. Especially,
uh,
well, it looks like they're not going as hard with the Superman S.
yeah, because he's got
Uh,
like a different shape, so they can't really
Keenan's.
complain. But Batman and
Yeah,
Wonder Woman have pretty
full on.
blatantly got the logos.
In
So
wrestling, that's called gimmick infringement, and that'll get you kicked out the locker room.
yeah, yeah. So
Uh,
Batman's got a full-on blue vibes. Wonder Woman's green, and obviously New Superman here is
that's,
red. So they've got the RGB thing going, which is cool. But no, I like this.
yeah, it was fun. I had some issues with the art just because it's not my thing. Like it wasn't bad, but it's very cartoony
I quite like the
in
art.
parts.
I think
Uh,
it gives it its own unique feel, and I think it suits the his like dickish like comedy kind of thing that he's got going.
yeah, yeah. It was
So
just for me. Some of the facial expressions, like on his dad, looked weird, and you know. But yeah, it's nothing. It's nothing worth like. Oh, I'm not going to read this again because the art.
I also
You know,
seen
art
someone
really.
else on Twitter pointed out to me that before he becomes New Superman, Keenan's walking around in a blue shirt and a red
Yeah.
like overshirt and called it the
Yep.
Smallville dress scheme.
Yep. I thought that too. I go, hey, looks like Clark Kent from Smallville. Like. So I thought that was cool. But you could tell that Yang really does like the character of Superman,
Hmm.
just because all the subtle stuff he's putting in here. The reporter with double L's, the blue collar dad.
But
I'm sure he'll.
even Keenan Kong with a K's like
Yeah. The was it alliteration
yeah.
with that. I mean, I remember when they announced it, his name was Kenji Kong or
Yeah.
something along
Well,
those
admittedly,
lines.
I wish they kept Kenji Kong because I think that's a killer name.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
whatever.
But they changed it, so that's cool. But just so I wonder what his version of Lex Luthor is gonna be.
That'll be interesting. Yeah.
So and I definitely like that. There's definitely room now for a book like this. So and I definitely am gonna keep reading.
Yeah, it's its own unique kind of original idea, which most of Rebirth is about. Looking back to
Yep.
the good past and like getting rid of like a lot of the crap they introduced in New 52. But this is like a completely new thing, and it's nice to see it actually be good. So this is a monthly book, so we'll get issue 2 for another month. But I assume that's because they want to keep the same artist on and keep it having that same unique feel.
Yeah,
And whether
and that's good.
this,
I don't need every book to be double shipping
oh no, me
or
neither.
twice a monthly. So it's nice to have a little break like that because, admittedly, the whole action Superman once a week gets a little, for me to try to keep up. Same with Batman Detective, you know, um, and keeping all the storylines straight
Yeah,
sometimes when you're
there's
reading so many comics. So
there is one or two that are single that I wish were double, but not too many of them. I think the singles at least pepper out the week to make them feel a little bit different from week to week, you know, because
Yeah.
otherwise it would feel like the same batch of books every 2 weeks,
Hmm.
whereas we get these singles are starting to pepper throughout, and it makes it feel a little bit more like,
Yeah.
you know. But yeah, so that's New Superman, and oh yeah, I'm feeling something. The ginger Speed Force is.
We need a sound effect next time if he's not here.
I can put one in. I'll put one in the edit. I'll use the lightning
Oh,
bolt from 121. Like,
there you go.
but aye, so New Superman from Connor's perspective here. New Supes. It's interesting, but I'm not completely sold. So he sounds a little bit more skeptical than we are. We seem to like it more than him. So he's the negative Nancy in this batch. I like the idea of him being a bit of a dick, but not completely, and the idea of a government program giving him the powers is definitely interesting. Willing to bet they're behind the conspiracy his dad's on about. Yeah, we didn't actually mention that. His dad
Oh
mentions
yeah.
he's a bit of a conspiracy nut. He's paranoid and thinks the government are up to things.
Well, yeah, and especially in China, like he
Oh,
says that he's about democracy. Uh-oh.
Mike,
There's
we have technical difficulties, folks. We will be back in just 1 second.
all right. Yeah, I was Ultron and a Brainiacing there. So,
Actually, that was the new thing. You were sort of going do 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 do
oh,
do do do.
so echolocation. I see. Learn a new mutant power there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought that his dad going on about democracy being in China, which is such a weird country because they claim to be like communist, but they have Walmart. So like, how's that work? You know,
Everything's the same price. I don't know.
I don't know. To me, something that's so capitalistic like Walmart should be completely antithetical to
Well,
China.
I feel like the big companies like just adjust how they work things so they can get in China because there's so many fucking people in there that
Yeah.
they want to sell
Well, yeah,
movies
of
there.
course.
They want their stores to be in there and so on. So
Yeah, it's a massive market that's virtually untapped for the
I
most
mean,
part. You know.
what is it? It's like a sixth or whatever of the world's population is in that one country.
Yeah.
So yeah, of course they want to be in there.
But yeah, so I like that, and again, Lang showing his heritage through
Also,
that.
I mean, we didn't actually mention it, but just from a diversity point of view, it is actually really nice to be reading a book that's
Oh,
nothing but non-white people.
right?
It's kind of nice.
Yeah.
So
But
no,
see,
fair.
unlike other people on the internet, we're not going on and making it a darling just because,
Oh no,
you
no.
know.
If this was bad, I'd stop reading it. But it's good.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's nice that it
So
happens to be like something that is just a completely different
yeah.
group of
Yeah.
people.
Well, and with this type of story, you could set it almost anywhere. Like this could have been, Superman of pick any
Yeah,
non-white
yeah.
majority country.
Obviously, with a name like Jean Ling Yang, he's picked
Yeah.
China because it's something that he can speak about and knows more about, and he can
Right.
put in like something that's more culturally relevant to that place. But yeah, it could have been if had this been like a German writer, he could have said it in Germany. Had it been
Yeah.
a Indian writer, he could have said it in India.
Yeah,
Whatever.
that's probably a better one. Like if this was, Superman of India, it could still have the same vibe and it would still work.